make it really easy on yourself, take the par. If you're playing tournaments, pars are your best friend, because pars aren't bogeys or double bogeys because you decided to do something aggressive and, admittedly, a little stupid. Welcome to How to Play Birch Park. If you're anything like me, you want the best optimal way to get to the basket every time. And today, I'm gonna try to figure that out on every single hole here at Birch Park. Now, I definitely have preconceived notions of how I should be throwing for each hole. And I don't even know if that's correct. So I might even do a little self-discovery here. What I'm gonna do in this video is give you a breakdown on the best way to reach the basket from the tee pad. I'm not gonna go over scrambles or upshots or putting, but just all of the options that exist for every hole. Is it forehand, backhand? What do the local routes look like? Things like that. So if you've ever played Birch Park and thought, I just don't know how to approach this hole, maybe this video will help you. Hole 1, the basket is tucked just at the end. There's a little bit of elevation. My preferred route is to take this like pushing hyzer line through the gap in these trees right here. And that is normally very consistent for me if I can, make that gap. We'll see how today goes. I've been feeling a little off lately, so I don't know. Hopefully this whole day isn't a bust. But there are a couple of sneaky gaps. There's a gap on the left, but it's really tight. But if you're a forehand player, it might be an option for you. So I'll attempt a forehand over here, but more often than not, I'm throwing a backhand hyzer, and maybe I'll even try a couple crazy things. But this is a pretty short hole. It's like 245 feet to the basket, so I'm just gonna throw a putter, but you throw whatever feels comfortable for that distance for you. It's all right side. Yeah, so that's the idea with the backhand. That outdrove the basket just by a little bit. I should still have a C1 putt, so that is almost as good as you can do. Let's try a forehand and see if I can get there with the sneaky gap. One's a lot tougher to hit. Yeah, the forehand for a righty on this hole doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Let me try something flippy. The play is the backhand, for sure. Admittedly, I already tried filming this video once, and I forgot how to throw. Everything was bad, and I gave up. I abandoned the video and I said I'll come back another day. Today is that other day. And we're gonna see how today goes, because I've been on that like trajectory of like suck, where like rounds feel really good for a little while and I'm playing pretty well, like I'm shooting either even or like under par, and for me that's very good as like an MA3, MA2 player. Today is either going to be a turning point where things start to feel good again after feeling bad for a little while, or I'm just not going to play very well today. But the advice will be solid, I promise you that. Challenger and the Area 51 ended up, they are technically like pin high, but they're really off to the side. We'll go see where that Envy landed. So it's just outside C1. Taking a par in that hole feels a little rough because it's such a birdieable hole. Hole 2, I almost always take a par on, and by almost always, I mean it's either that or a bogey. thought the cloud coverage today would help cool things off, or at least keep things from being so stagnantly hot. It is going to be in the high 90s today. I think there was a like weather temperature high temp warning. I'm already feeling it on hole 2, so the way I attack this hole is normally with a mamba. In the long position, the basket follows the path that you see on the ground here and goes up the hill beyond the trees where you can't see it. There's a tiny, tiny little sapling out there. And if you can get to that, then you're doing great. If you can push beyond that, then that's perfect. The short basket, if you see this mound here, where the trees are, there's a second mound just after it, maybe like, I don't know, 50 feet, 75 feet. Short basket's over there, long basket is just up the hill and to the right. So my play, normally, is to flip up a mamba and have it kind of cruise straight down, get a little turn near the sapling, and then fade back towards the opening of the mouth of the hill where the basket is. That's my play. So let's try that, see if I can pull it off today, and then we'll explore some other options. Wow, that's pretty overstable for a mamba. That's also a new disc. I'll try one more and then we'll move on to a forehand. Yeah, that's the plate you're looking for. That'll be pretty nice. Now for forehand player, what you're really trying to do is get something flippy that will flip up and then turn the same way, but just in the opposite direction. There's no other real good way to approach this hole. Like if you go high, you're fighting these branches that are coming in from this V tree on the right side. So like really you have this like triangle window right here. Everything else around it is just, it's just aiming to take your disc out of the sky. Like that. I don't normally play this hole forehand, and I don't have great distance as a forehand player. So for me, this is tricky, but if you have that distance, then that's essentially what you're trying to do. So even though that mamba was very left, we're actually still in a fine spot. I mean, playing from this lie isn't gonna be easy. In fact, there's thorns over here that I wanna be careful of. But you're kind of just shooting over this mound, maybe a little forehand scuba action to kind of just get into play. It is a par 3, which makes this a little bit more challenging, so I really need to get out into the open to have a good approach. So this is nearly perfect. The wave is just to the left, and I mean, I could go for it. It is makeable. Tough putt, but really, even if I just put it close and take a par, that is a fine score on this hole. Here is the tee sign for hole 3 at the short tee pad. I want to make a note of something. In the past, we've played this hole with OB just beyond the basket here because there is a line and a wire on like a fence that plays as OB on the next hole. But technically, there's no information on that sign saying it plays as OB. So I'm not actually sure on the ruling. I haven't played a tournament here in a minute, so we're gonna play it as not OB. So if you go along in the basket, we'll just say it's fine. That may or may not be a problem. The first thing you have to contend with on hole 3 are all of these trees. These trees are kind of a nightmare. There's this tree here and this tree here, and you want to throw in between them. I like a forehand through that gap, something that's neutral to understable, like a Mako 3 might be fine. A Hex would be fine, a Buzz would be fine, maybe even like an Envy would be fine on forehand, turning left and fading towards the basket. There are these tires that are really fun, and some people even, as a goof, try to play through them. If you're at Birch, try it. It's a silly goose good old time. But if we're trying to make it to the basket, we're trying to avoid those tires by going down this way. Now, if you're backhanding, that's fine, but this tree on the left makes it really tight. So your backhand has to be perfect. A forehand will probably give you a better option. If you're a lefty player, then your backhand is like totally adequate for this. Then just hyzer backhand through that gap and land at the basket, easy peasy. If you're a righty, then forehand is your best bet, but we'll see what a backhand might look like on the left side, and also this very, very sneaky gap over here, which is doable, but it's such a low percentage shot. Yeah, forehand's not feeling great today. I got knocked down, but whatever, we're through the gap. Backhand through that same gap. Wish me so much luck. Four. Nope, we're okay. Those are the options. The forehand is the play if you can hit the gap. I hit it once, so we'll call that okay for now. Okay, here's the backhand through the left gap. I couldn't actually make a backhand work through the sneaky gap. It's actually not bad, but it's not great. It's okay. The forehand that worked, that got smacked down, ended up being a fairway driver, but I ran out of mid-ranges. So, there's the tire, second tire. Basket just beyond it. So it really is just a very silly hole. In fact, you wanna, look at that, shot number 2. Last, not least, is the just backhand. Simple, easy backhand with the putter actually gave me the best look, even though that's not typically what I would do. So can we birdie with a bag on and holding a camera? No, we can't. But that's okay. It's not necessarily a how to birdie video, although if you play better than me, you will be birdieing. I can almost guarantee you that. Hole 4 is so very fun. I interpret this as a forehand hole. It's downhill. It's less than 300. Well, it's actually a little over 300 feet. The basket's tucked way at the bottom over here. My play is to just forehand something kind of neutral straight and have it fade near the end. Super easy, obvious approach hole. If you want to go outside this skinny tree to the left, you can. The tee pad for the next hole is here. There is a net, but if you're fading something or turning something over, like, you want to be careful if people are over there. So my play is normally kind of straight down this gap in a forehand. You can make a backhand work, either a very turny, floaty putter like left side, but you know, it just depends on what your comfortability is. Funny enough, just as I got done explaining that, well, in the middle of me explaining that, we realized that there are some people on hole 5. So I'm just gonna wait until they're done, because I don't feel confident myself today that I'm going to not immediately get in their way or like send a disc in their direction. So I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, that's near the basket. That's what you want to do. That was just a neutral 8-speed fairway driver, or I guess control driver. We're gonna throw the inner core. I'm gonna try to put enough anhyzer on it to get it to float around the edge and towards the basket. It hit an unlucky tree, but that's the idea. I think it might need something just a little more understable, like a proxy. In fact, that's gonna be okay. Okay, inner core hit off that tree and was unlucky, but you're still in a fine position to just lay it up and take a par. There's nothing wrong with that. Although, I feel like if you can get a drive to be in the right position, then this is a very birdieable hole. Case in point, basket, disc. Am I birdieing it? Again, holding the camera with my bag half on. Probably not, but you know, give her our best attempt. Yep, happens once a video. How about with the driver? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll call that a birdie for the video. Hole 5. The basket is tucked up. You see where these rocks are? The short basket's like right there. The long basket is beyond those rocks. Like, I don't know, another 70 feet-ish. That's it, and then 30, and then another 30. Yeah, like 70-ish feet past where those rocks are. You can take this inside line, but it's kind of crazy. The actual line is to go on the outside to the left of this big tree, and then just push something up and gently fade it into the circle, kind of like where these trees are. I'll try to show you. Yeah, it's right there. So if you're throwing a backhand, that's what you want to do. Forehand. Truthfully, I have no idea. Just take the same line on a forehand with something understable, because this is suicide. This is bad. I'll try to maybe show you why it's bad, but it's not great. So forehand, I'm just gonna try to flip up that atlas and get it to turn in, but it's essentially the exact same line. It's tough, I don't recommend it. I'll try to forehand something through this gap, but no promises. Almost. It's tough. I recommend the backhand line. I started lifting again last week, and I've been going through the 5 stages of owies, and those stages are shoulders, biceps, triceps, back, and chest. And things hurt. Things hurt, everybody. Hurts real bad. Chest feels like just pain. So the fact that I'm playing this well today is like, I'm pretty happy with it. There's the backhand, there's the basket. It's just that simple. Then you just gotta make a putt. Can I make a putt? Who knows? You can. I believe in you. Hole 6 is really fun. Big downhill, baskets way tucked in the back. In the short position, you could theoretically eagle. I think I've only done it once when it was in shorts, and I had to take like a few different putts to actually make it happen, so not actually an eagle. I think I took like a birdie, which is still good. It's par 4. But the first thing you want to do is just make sure no one's on the hole, and I think we got a couple people finishing up, which is totally fine. So yeah, you want to push something like straight and flippy, but not turn it over into the woods on the right hand side. And you want to land just as close to the rock down there that you can, or past it would be beautiful. You get past that rock, then you are more than just an intermediate player, in my opinion. I can't get there. Brian, been on the channel, played here. I think my exact words were something along the lines of, "Good hole, holy Jesus Christ, Brian," because he bombed it. Up.
Oh yeah, look at that flip.
Hell, oh my God.
Yeah, Brian's huge.
Jesus Christ. Brian is huge. Nice throw, man. And he was like sitting next to he was tap-in eagle. And I was like, God damn. So I'm gonna try something flippy. I'll try a few discs. I'm gonna try to get as close to the short basket position as I can, because from there it's really just an easy up and down and you're taking a birdie. So here's what this looks like from the tee pad. You really don't get any information, but you wanna put it just over the top of this hill. Something that's gonna turn with it nose down, just skim it, and then let it turn a bit to the edge of the trees and let it fade back as close as it can towards the basket. I think when Brian threw, he threw something flippy that was like this, and like pushed straight, had late flip up, and like turned pretty close to the rocks near the end, and then like kind of finally came back. I can't do that, but I'm gonna try my best. The other thing you want to be mindful of, the left side of this fairway runs perpendicular to hole 10. So hole 10 is throwing this way down the hill, and the basket sits kind of tucked in over here somewhere, kind of like halfway through just this little valley part. So if you fade early, you yell for it, because you don't know where your disc is going to end up. You could end up pretty close to hole 10's basket, so just be mindful of that. So we want to keep something as close to the right side as we can. I didn't trust it because it's a new disc. Honestly, if you're throwing forehand here, good luck. It's the same thing. You just want to get something turning and then fading back as close as you can. Yeah, it's going to be fading into findable. Okay, let's move on. Breaking news, the Wave and the Crave both are in pretty great positions. Still very, very short, but you know, it's okay. Today it's okay. That's fine, that's par. I gotta find a couple discs that I haven't yet found before we move on. Hole 7. You can kind of see the basket way at the back here, long position. The idea is that you're throwing to the left of this tree, through this kind of gap here, and then just kind of pushing hyzer all the way into the mouth. You can get to the basket for sure. A lot of these holes are starting to be like, that's the line, that's the one line. If you want to go way outside, you can. I can show you what that looks like, just to play safe. But they're like, as far as a forehand goes, there's no forehand. Unless you're a lefty player, then there's a forehand, and it's just going to be the backhand line that I'm going to show you on righty. So, yeah. That's too much hyzer. Let's see if I put one a little flatter. They're both going to be out there. Let me show you a wide line. The spike hyzer on the outside of this tree, and it's just to get in the fairway, but honestly, like, hitting this gap isn't hard. Yeah, you're out there. Coming up on that spike hyzer, honestly, not a bad option for playing the short basket. It's just right there, but you still have a ways to go to get to the long position, which admittedly not too bad. The two actual drives, the Wave, I put on too much hyzer and it crashed into these trees pretty close. The DD didn't get enough turn, so what ended up happening is it faded onto the path, which we still have a chance at an upshot. I'm just kind of gonna toss something over there and call it a day. Like I said, I'm not doing an approach video, but that'd be the move, and then you're just tapping out a par here. Hole 8. There's nothing to see. The basket is tucked way to the right over here. High forehand, hyzer, something overstable, just kind of get out there. I don't even know if there's a backhand that really exists. I've seen it done, but it's tough. I'll try to replicate what the best throw I ever saw with the backhand was in this hole, but it's going to be tight. If you want to throw a backhand on this hole, this tee pad needs to be here, not here. It needs to be here. They really want to force you to throw a forehand. In fact, throwing backhand out this way isn't even possible with all these low limbs. Like, you're just not going to get the height. So like, this is really your only option. And I'm realizing this more and more as we go through this video, that like, this isn't like Hollows North, where like you can approach it multiple ways. There's really just like one thing they want you to do here at Birch. So one high hyzer. Yep. And then it'll just kind of crash. Yeah, not gonna be very far, but it'll be okay. Let me see if I can get one a little lower. It's a canyon. Yeah, that's a little bit better. As far as the backhand goes, you want something that's gonna turn a lot, like a lot, without going too far, and I think that's the real issue. In fact, you might think, like, what if you just throw just to the left of this tree? There's another tree right behind it. There is no option there. Ah, yeah, does not exist. I'll try that one more time. Oh no, see, that's gonna go over to the next basket. Yeah, that went over to the walking trail to the next tee. Here was attempt number 1, forehand high. Very short, but you know, not bad. Really, you're just looking to put something into the mouth and get open. But the second throw, yeah, landed in a better spot. So that second drive was probably more the idea. It's still a little too right and not very far, but you gotta look. Yeah, hey, it was a good bit. And just like that, we're on hole 9, last of the front 9. The basket is way, and you know, I'll just try to show you. The basket turns way to the right uphill. It is all the way up there. So what I like to do is backhand something flippy and have it just turn the entire way and finish close to the position. Now, if I can manage to do that today, great. But if I can't, that's fine. Forehand is also an option. I mean, it's very clearly, it just goes to the right. So if you want to forehand it, great. It's just so far for someone like me to get there. It's over 300 feet. I maybe have a couple hundred feet on a forehand at best. I'm a backhand player. So we'll do a couple backhand throws. I'll probably throw like a Mamba, maybe an Insanity. Something like slightly understable. You want something that's gonna turn, but also gonna come out of the flight. And you really got to keep that nose down. Not quite get the turn. I'll try a couple more. Oh, here we go. Here's the last backhand attempt. That should pretty much get there. Okay, that's what you want to do in the backhand. Okay, let's try the forehand. Do more stable Insanity. Not really up there, but forehand still nothing special. For a Procyon. Yeah, forehand's just gonna be fine, at least for me. Coming up on the Procyon there. Yeah, see, like, forehand's fine. It just gets you out into some position to then still have a pretty long throw for your upshot. So it's not my favorite, but if you're a forehand dominant player and you have the distance, then like that's your play. But it's really just, you know, one direction, straight to the basket. Something I think I've been noticing more about my form is if I'm moving through it too fast, I'm releasing early just about every time. But if I try to slow things way down, way down, too much, I end up way over gripping and turning it right and I lose my brace. So there is definitely a sweet spot to the timing that I need to start focusing on more, because when it clicks, it's perfect. Clint, I forget his last name, is a disc golf coach. He had a video talking about timing, and it was like my eyes were open. I was like, oh, I get it, I see now. Speaking of seeing, see this disc be so close to the basket. That's a C2 look for maybe birdie. For me, it's probably just gonna be a layup and take a par. Made it. Pretty good bird. Hole 10, officially on the back nine. Hole 10, you can approach a couple different ways. This obstacle here, the barrel pyramid tower thing, pretty fun. It's really just like this and the tires on hole 3 that give this course some gimmicks, but that's about it. You really just want to avoid those. Just think of them as a tree. If you backhand just to the left of those barrels with something that will push hyzer, I'm going to throw Mako 3, and you can get to that long basket. It's just down the valley a little bit. There's also like kind of a pushy neutral forehand that you can do. Those are really the two ones that I would recommend on this hole. I'll try to show you what I'm talking about here, but the idea is that you're just putting something kind of straight with just a little bit of fade right down the gullet. Too much fade. The Mako 3 in that star plastic is just like more overstable than I want. We'll throw one more, we'll throw the proxy. Yeah, it's pretty good. That'll be close. Let's see what a forehand looks like. Just kidding. Yeah, I'll throw this F3. Dang. Oh, that's the right idea. It's close. It's close. Damn, that is close. Here's the fuse and the Mako 3, both basically in the same position. It's not bad at all. I just faded a little more than I would like. The proxy I haven't found yet. But I'm sure it's, you know, pretty close to somewhere in a good spot. Maybe somewhere over here, or maybe I got close to the basket. That last forehand, ooh, yeah, you know, you got the forehand, then it's a viable option. All right, there we go. Yeah, putting with the bag on and holding a camera is not my forte, but the birdie is there. Finally found it. I don't know why it's been so difficult to find this proxy every time I've needed to look for it, but it's right there. That's a look at birdie. We already got the birdie with the forehand, so two good options for you on hole 10. Hole 11. Basket is tucked way up, way past the trees, tucked just at the end of this long path and to the right. Forehand or backhand, it's just a tunnel shot. I like something that'll flip up and turn. Whether or not I can get something to do that today is, you know, we'll see. But that's the play. Even if you just get out to the middle and then take another upshot, like this is a fine hole to take a par on. It's 360 feet to the long position. So if you have 360 golf shot, great. If you don't, then just get out into the open. I'll show you what to do, and then we'll get to the basket. Pretty good. Let's do a nice safe shot where we just get out into the open. I'm going to throw this Atlas and just kind of get out into the middle as best I can. Yep. Totally fine. And if you're throwing a forehand, then it's going to be a very similar line. For me, of course, I don't throw bomber forehands. I'm also kind of just looking to get out into the open. Yeah, turn it a bit. Let me see if I can do one more. Yeah, hold it high. Yeah, it's fine. That's actually pretty good for the short position. Not very good for the long. I recommend a backhand if you're backhand dominant. Okay, if you're just looking to play it safe, here's where the Atlas landed. It's just perfectly in the fairway. Hello basket, tucked behind those trees where it's difficult to see. Take a overstable approach disc, throw it on forehand, and just cut in and see if I can get close from here. Big wide open gap to the left. Yeah, I mean that's about as well as I can do it without putting it in the basket. So that's your safe play. And the aggressive play, which if this had stood up and turned and had some more height, then I would have been a lot closer to the basket, but it's still an outside chance at birdie. Oh, yeah, no, that had zero spin to it. There you go, here's the spin. Honestly, either way, whether you play aggressive or safe, you're probably still taking a par here, or at least if you're anything like me, you are. So that is up to you. Sometimes the smart thing to do is to play it safe, put something in the fairway, get up and down with something you're comfortable with, make it really easy on yourself, take the par. If you're playing tournaments, pars are your best friend, because pars aren't bogeys or double bogeys because you decided to do something aggressive and, admittedly, a little stupid. But hey, we've all been there. I make those mistakes constantly because my ego gets in the way. But if I just put that aside and said, you know what, if I just get out into the open and take pars for the rest of the round, I'll be in first place. Or I can play aggressive, real aggressive, and then I can slip down to, tie for fifth or whatever. Speaking of aggressive, hole 12, the aggressive line is through this gap in between this V tree and this kind of like tree that's the first thing off the tee. Now you can play the outside line and it's totally respectable. And you can get into a position where you're getting up and down. You can even get to the short basket from here on the outside line, but if you want a chance at birdie, you gotta really push a flippy disc through this gap. I actually haven't been able to get something very close to the basket in a while. So here's a clip from when I was able to do that.
All right, so first things first. You want to absolutely nail the thinnest gap on the left side right off the tee with something kind of flippy. I used an Insanity that's been beat in. And then once you do that and throw it really well, then you just tap in your birdie. Easy.
And here's my best attempt to recreate this now. Alright, so none of those were very good. The aggressive line is tough. Let's play something safe to the outside. That's going to be pretty left, it'll be okay. We'll also do a forehand, just for the flavor. I'm going to throw a hatchet, which is pretty flippy. I'm going to basically try to take that same line. Oh, too much. Roll. Yeah, let me actually try one more and then we'll move on. Aggressive but good. Okay, I'm glad I tried it. Not bad. Nice little up shot. Yep, nice and easy. Probably not even that hard to throw it in, if you're that kind of player. Here's that scorch actually, that, you know, way off to the left. Basket's through the trees here. It's not a very good position to be in. That's why you don't really want to saw it off. You want something that's going to flip and turn and really get down that side. Still got to find one more disc. Hole 13 is kind of crazy. The basket is, hold on, it's over here. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see that? Well, neither can I. The basket's way the heck to the right. And funny enough, this tree that's like broken off right here used to be a Mando tree. So I'm assuming this is still considered a Mando. I don't know if that's true anymore. You could maybe try to get real sneaky over like this way and try to, I don't know, thumb or something through the trees, but that's not very smart. The smart thing to do is to backhand Anheuser something that's gonna like turn and then fade out and like glide all the way. Forehand is also a nice easy option. I'll try a couple, we'll see how it goes. I think I might actually need to, yeah, I don't know how much height I'm gonna have to give this thing, but might actually be in an okay position. Let me see if I can get the forehand, the feedback, over stable disc, and really just try to get out in the open. It's gonna be fine. All right, move on. The fun thing about this series is you get to learn about some stuff that you may have never even thought of before. Like, I would step up to this tee every time I'd throw a forehand, and my friend Bill was like, why don't you throw a backhand here? I was like, are you insane? It's a forehand. He's like, no, it doesn't. Throw a backhand. It's something that's gonna, you know, fight out of the turn, but not too much. Something understable that glides and just like follows the curve and then fades out at the end. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. But I just don't have that in my arsenal. But now I do, because I practiced it. You'll see from both of those attempts, one a little too overstable, one a little too high, that neither of them were very good. The one that missed the Mando, which I don't even really know if that is a Mando tree. Like, they haven't bothered to put a sign up calling it a Mando again, is actually great. Like, it's not perfectly placed, but it's okay. I'm on the edge. It's blurry. And it's just like a nice little step out forehand to the long position. So like, I'm not mad at it. Oh, you know what, actually? It's a backhand over the trees. Yeah. Oh, I never play this hole for anything other than a par. So if I get a par, I'll be pretty dang happy. And there's your forehand that I missed. It is just, you know, it's far for sure, but it's right out in the open, and then you just have a little upshot. That is not the right disc for an approach. It's a 9-speed overstable disc. Look at that. Boom. It's the easiest par I've ever had on this hole. Hole 14 is for sure interesting. It is, whoop, well, that's as far as that tripod goes. Hold on, let me put you all back in the tripod. There we go. Okay, cannot get any taller than this. That's fine. So the basket is, again, tucked to the right. Forehand would work. Backhand for me is the preferred method. Just the distance is like 295. So it's like, it's outside of my forehand range for sure. but it's just over here, way past everything over here. OB line runs this entire length because you're playing parallel to hole 16. So you want to be really careful of fading early. I'm gonna throw a couple discs that I'm hoping to either get pretty close to the basket or at least in the fairway, kind of middle. Have it flip and turn, or just like hold a nice barely anhyzer release, and kind of get just to like where this little grouping of stump tree thing is at the end there. Oh, a little anti-skip towards the basket. That was nice. Turn to the pit. Take a really sneaky back way to the basket. That might be okay. I'll try 2 forehands, one with a prototype, one with a insanity. Yeah, you don't want to fade too early on the right side either, because that's all swamp. Whoop. That's going to be OB. Okay, that's why I don't play forehand. Mako 3, which is normally the safe play, was fine. It went a lot wider than I thought, but still have decent little look at the basket and up for par for sure. The insanity got a lot closer than I thought it did. This is actually really just kind of nice look at birdie, if I can get some spin on this disc. Maybe I should actually throw a putter. There we go. Then, you know, hey, birdie look. Yeah, prototype 2 is in this nonsense. So there's still kind of like a little gap over here to just get that out into the open, but it's not a very good play. But also, if you have the forehand to get there, it really technically is a forehand hole, for sure. Here's where that layup ended, up at, and lefty putt. Yeah. Ha! I should have been putting lefty the whole time. Look at that. Hole 15 is another great example of, you know, you step up to the tee, throw the same thing every time, and then someone comes along and says, hold on, wait a minute, have you considered this? So I would normally throw just something overstable. The basket is way tucked at the bottom of this entire little kind of like trail thing. It's not a dog leg left, but it's like a heavy pushing hyzer, like hard fade left. So if you throw something like a feedback, which is like a 9-6 -1-3 and a 5 -1-3 or whatever, it'll fade towards the basket, but you end up contending with a lot of trees in the fairway. My friend was like, if you do a spike hyzer, you throw way high, then you avoid a lot of that and you can throw something more neutral. So we'll try a couple of those things. And the forehand option exists, but it's you want it going left. So like there's just going to be a lot of turn that you're going to need on a forehand. So backhand for me, for righty, is honestly like, it's my play. Dry, swung, hyzered it a bit more than I wanted to. There we go. Yeah, that'll, oh, got hung up in some branches, but that's the right idea. Now we'll throw flat and hard and very overstable. Another option. I think it's gonna be pretty short. We'll throw a forehand, try to get the turn out of it, but it's not my preferred method. Yeah, it's just a lot you gotta fight with. Somehow that is absolutely bonkers perfect. Like I said, sometimes you do something and you surprise even yourself. And we got caught up with the F3 on some branches, landed early. Here's the pond. Luckily, the pond is very dry. So if you end up going in there, probably going to be safe. Here is the prototype. This has actually turned out pretty good. And then the feedback, I thought it was short. Actually, this is stupid perfect. This is like theoretically tap in birdie. If you're a good player, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
And then here is that sneaky forehand, landed just past the basket. That's crazy. Okay, we're nearly at the end here, hole 16. There are actually a ton of options on this hole. It just doesn't look like it because of how narrow the fairway tunnels you directly to the basket in the middle here. But there's some lines on the outside with the forehand. There are some wide options with backhands. You can go straight at it. So let's try a few different things and we'll see if maybe one's better than the other. That's gonna be a B. Let's try yeah. The issue is it's only 191 feet, so I'm throwing putters and I'm still cooking it. Try a forehand line. Oh, just missed my line. Try one more and then we'll try back. Not bad. The backhand line, the right gap backhand line is a little tough. So like this tree with all the branches, you want to be just to the left of it and you want something that's going to hook. I don't think this mid-range is going to do that, but I'm going to try. It's the best option I have right now. Oh, got it off a little early. But it ended up okay. It might be the smart play here. Try one more. That was right over the top of it. I still missed my line. Try one. Oh, that's the way outside line. Ended up pretty good though. All right, here's the Mako 3. And a really good birdie, look. There we go. Birdie. Here's that way outside right line NB. Just behind the basket. Not in a great spot, but you know, doable. Here's the proxy. Yeah, you just if you cook the drive, you're just like looking at a pretty tough upshot. I've already done a how-to birdie this hole. You can find it here.
Hole 17 is tricky because of this tree that's on the left. So what I like to do is pretend that there's just this big tunnel that you're throwing down and then just lace it with something slightly overstable. I use the Stalker 7502. And then once you lace it and you basically park your shot, then you just tap in your birdie. Easy.
It's tricky. So I like to envision this tree and this far tree like they're just next to each other. And that is my target. Like I'm just basically throwing through this like it's one tunnel, and you want to get to this far tree before you start to fade. And the basket is just up on the hill, kind of tucked back. It's a little hard to see behind that broken tree over there, but it's really just a straight pushing hyzer. It's not hard. There's a forehand option. I'm probably not going to do it today just because I'm a little bit worried about it going all the way back down the hill and into that dry pond. But that line is just, boop, like that's the line. So I'm just gonna do my best to hit it. Not too much hyzer. Oh, hold it. And got sleepy. There's the local route. aiming right now, but one of those will be fine. There's one other option that I just considered, and that's to go to the left of this tree through this gap, which doesn't really make sense at this angle, but I think I can make it work. So let's see if I can do anything with that idea. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's an option. That's a good option. Okay. Let's make 03 pretty close. I mean, that's doable. Not with a distance driver, but it's doable. And of course we got F5 and Insanity. All great options. Hey, there we go. There's the birdie with the asterisk. Let's talk about 18 from the fairway. That's a basket for 18. The tee pad is back here. So, it is very short, but it is also completely blind. Which I guess I could just say it's blind. Completely blind, I guess, is redundant in this case. But either way, what you want to do is put it next to the basket. And to do that, you can either backhand highs or something through this gap, or you can forehand through this gap. But either way, you don't want to push too far, or else you're going right to the tee pad a hole one. You don't want to go too short, because you're either on the hill or you're going to get mixed up in a bunch of nastiness. So we have a couple options and we'll see what works best. That's not going to be any good. Let's try that again. Better. Much better. The area 51. Yeah, it's going to be really short. There we go. There's the area 51. Four. I think that's actually at the basket, but I have no idea if anyone's down there. So, just to be on the safe side. Okay. I have no idea if those are any good, so let's go take a look. Remember when I said, oh, that's not going to be any good? So this is the nastiness that I was talking about. A decent amount is very thorny. Like, look, those are thorns. So you want to be really careful. Your disc ends up over here. If you're playing from over here, then oof. But some of the other attempts actually turned out great. So here's the envy. This was good. This is a look at a birdie for sure. Not that you can see it with the tree in the way. Here's the forehand with the canyon. That just is a birdie. Yeah, that's a good way to end. And the other forehand just went a little long. Still not a bad place to play from. This is also probably a birdie. I mean, 18 is a birdie hole. The only disc I haven't found yet is the proxy, which might have gone long, but either way, I'm pretty happy. Let's step off the course and do a little recap, huh? Okay, so that's 18 holes at Birch, and my score was 9 under. So plenty of opportunities to birdie, and I didn't even play at my best. I played a little bit better than my most okay on my good drives, and I took quite a few drives. I'm very tired and very sweaty. It's very hot. But hey, 9 under. If you learned something new, let me know. And if you watched a hole and you were like, that's not the line, that's the stupidest thing this guy could be doing, comment, let me know, because I am so happy to learn new things that I then take with me as skills in every tournament I play, and every time I play with my friends. I like to share that knowledge. So let's share it together. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to watch the Hollows North round, then it's on the channel. Just go to the page and be like, Hollows North, how to play, you'll find it. Actually, it's probably going to be like here. It's right there. You can click on that. You click on the video, and then you'll see a different how to play at a different course. Also, let me know which course you want me to play next. I'm in the New England area, so anywhere in New Hampshire or Mass or even like Maine, totally fine. Let me know. Okay. Click it.